Hey guys. Urizi here. This is what if Naruto was Alucard. When Orochimaru used Gogyo Fuinn on Naruto in the Forest of Death, he could never have imagined that his actions would create something more terrible than any other monster he had known. Watch as Naruto rises with the power of Alucard, the no-life king, the Prince of Valahia, and his most important title, Count Dracula. Hit like and subscribe, and also don't forget to check the author. Let's start.
We are pain, that's all. We are God.
Chapter 1. Ancestor and Memories. Gogyo Fuinn. When Orochimaru of the Sannin placed this seal on Uzumaki Naruto, he never knew that he had opened a proverbial can of worms. He made a mess that was so great and terrible that he was sure to regret ever facing him in the second stage of Chunin exams. Naruto was an orphan, the Jinchuriki of Kyuubi no Kitsune, the academy dead last, the most unpredictable ninja, the knucklehead, and so many other things. To the normal civilians of Konoha, he was the demon brat, fox, monster, and so many other things. For some people, he was the hero of the village, their favorite customer, and to the ones that knew the secret of his parentage, namely the Hokage, Jiraiya of the Sannin, Senju Tsunade, Hatake Kakashi, and some other trusted ninja. He was the son of Namikaze Minato, the Yondaime Hokage of Konoha, and Uzumaki Kushina, the red-hot-blooded habanero. But there was something that was unknown to everyone, even the parents of the said child. Long before the elemental nations, there was a time known as Old World. This was the world where ninja did not exist, normal civilians lived as humanity, and the people who preyed on this humanity were called monsters. One kind of these monsters were called vampires. There were many names given to the vampires, like bloodsuckers, Nosferatu, etc. These were the ultimate predators of humanity, and were born through an exchange of blood between a vampire and a human virgin. It was a little-known fact that the first vampire was the result of a curse. The curse caused him to become dependent on human blood for his survival, sleep in a coffin filled with the soil from his birthplace, and become immortal and walk on the earth alone, forever. The first vampire was called by many names, his birth name, which was Vlad Three Teeps, the Count of Transylvania, the no-life king, Vlad the Impaler, Count Dracula, and finally, as he was known later in his life, Alucard. He hunted his own kind after being defeated and forced to serve the family of the person who defeated him, known as Gabriel van Helsing, a scientist and a hunter of the supernatural. At first, it was forced on him by a mark known as Cromwell Mark. Later on, it became his habit and finally his joy. Alucard started to love defeating and killing other lesser vampires, and he got countless opportunities to do so as a member of the esteemed Hellsing Foundation. In his later years, he changes someone into his fledgling, a subordinate vampire. While hunting an artificial vampire in the town of Cheddar in England, he had to shoot through a human female police officer to kill the vampire. He changed the girl, whose name was Sarah's Victoria, by exchanging his blood with her, and for the first and the last time in history, Count Dracula had his own fledgling. They went on many adventures as a team, fighting and defeating various vampires and other supernatural threats to the world. Their final fight was against an organization called the Millennium, who used certain chips to turn normal people into vampires. That was the time that Alucard used all his power to the very basic rather than superficial release of power he normally used. The fight nearly killed him, but he was able to destroy all the stored souls he had and lived for some more time before he decided to end his life. This would have been a shock, but Namikaze Minato was a descendant of Sarah's Victoria, and by that connection, Alucard's. One thing that people don't know is the power blood holds. True vampires like Alucard can absorb the souls and memories of the victims through their blood, hence when Alucard gave his blood to Sarah's, he also gave her his memories, which were suppressed by her mind. On to the present scenario. By using the Gogyo Fuinn on Naruto, Orochimaru made sure that no amount of Kyuubi's chakra leaves Naruto's body, but it gave Kyuubi a free rein on his blood, which was more that he could ask for. Kyuubi wanted a powerful host, but received a weak child instead. Now, he wanted the child to be strong but also darker than this idiot he was now. As Kyuubi looked through the memories of the blood from all of his ancestors, she found the memories of Sarah's. This female had a lot of power, but she is too gentle. If I use her memories, he will become both gender confused and also gentler. Wait, what is this memory? Alucard, let's see if this man is interesting or not. As QB looked through the memories of the person called Alucard, he was amazed at the power and brutality of this nearly immortal being. If this power is held by his container, he will be the strongest and QB's reputation will rise for sure. If he ever turned on QB would be able to defeat him using the flaws in his physiology, as he knew every weakness Alucard had. Unfortunately, or perhaps fortunately, QB forgot some things. Uzumaki clan had a special chakra which corrected any flaw in the genetics, giving them the vitality and strength Uzumaki clan was famous for. Till now, QB's chakra was suppressing the Uzumaki special chakra, but with the 5-pronged seal, the chakra got activated and began correcting any flaws present in Naruto's body and DNA. At the same time, QB's interference activated Alucard's blood and memories. This caused something no one could have thought. As Alucard's power came in contact with Uzumaki's special chakra, the flaws in his power were corrected by the chakra. His minor talents like hypnosis, phasing got enhanced, and the familiar souls in Alucard's blood began to disintegrate and absorb in Naruto. Even the favorite weapons of Alucard, his guns, were now under Naruto's control. This also allowed him to go out in the sun, remain powerful without sleeping in the coffin, unable to eat anything other than blood, aversion to silver among other advantages. While all this was happening, the Uzumaki chakra corrected his malnutrition and changed his appearance a little. Naruto, who was always considered a midget, became almost as tall as Alucard, who was considered one of the tallest individuals in Hellsing organization. His sun-kissed golden blonde hair turned blood red in color. His cerulean blue eyes were replaced by red ones which glowed with barely restrained power. His chakra coils, which were too large or too small, turned normal, while his chakra reserve changed as Naruto's new body was perfect to handle large amount of chakra, which in turn increased his control. His muscles were torn and remade, multiplying his muscular strength. His senses sharpened to that of a vampire. Finally, his mind got enhanced as his viewpoint changed completely. It was an upgrade in abilities that made Naruto faster than Guy, smarter than Shikaku, and stronger than even Tsunade. All the while Naruto's body slept, and his mind sorted out all the memories he now had. Inside Naruto's mindscape, Naruto did not know what was happening. The last thing he remembered was fighting Orochimaru before he was stabbed in the stomach by something the snake team did. It was probably some jutsu. Right now, he was floating freely in a void. Yet he found himself unable to panic, or even feel fear. Like a voice in his head telling him that he is much stronger to feel such stupid emotions. That was another thing. He felt amazing, better than he had felt in his whole life. There was a comfort in his body that was missing before. A certain feeling of power and energy that made him feel as though he was caged before but now was free. He felt as though he was released from a long time in prison and just tasted the fresh air of the outside world for the first time. As he looked at himself, he noticed his height, muscular physique and shoulder-length red hair. Instead of panic, he felt that red hair suited him much more than his original blonde. He looked around himself but was unable to find anything that gave any indication to his location. All of his surroundings were concealed in shadows and he was unable to pierce them. Suddenly, on instinct, he focused on looking past the shadows when the entire, and his eyes glowed red, letting him see in the dark. He was in his mindscape. The last time he was here was the day on the bridge when he needed some chakra from the fox and met him to demand for it. Naruto never liked using the Bijou chakra. It always exhausted him for some reason. With that thought, he lost focus from his eye and the area was cloaked in shadows. Naruto knew that his teammates were outside and he needed to protect them. Thinking about his teammates, Naruto could not help but frown. His team was the worst possible team someone could have. Sasuke was fixated on revenge and always insulted him because of his status as a dead last. Sakura was a complete fangirl who took every word Sasuke said as a word from Kami herself, and finally Kakashi, the perverted, lazy teacher who taught nothing to him or Sakura while Sasuke was tutored in various ninja skills while instructing him to further his basic training in ninja studies. Kakashi was a hypocrite, which was someone Naruto loathed. If he had to depend on Kakashi for his training, then he would die before being stronger. Ha 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 ha, kid, you will not die even if you wanted to. Naruto jumped out of his bones in fright at the sudden but loud demonic voice coming all around him. For I have taken your mortality. You can now never hope to meet anyone dead unless it is you who does the killing. Naruto recognized the deep voice as that of the Kyuubi, although he could not understand what he said. How could someone take away the mortality of someone else? This was just impossible. As light filled the surroundings, he found a change in his mindscape. Where it was dank before with murky water this time, there was a certain scent that was unrecognizable yet also recognizable. It filled his nostrils in a tangy, coppery scent and caused hunger to build inside him, which scared the shit out of him. Only ramen was able to make him feel this way, but the scent was definitely not of ramen. Looking down, he gasped in horror. Blood? There was a pool of blood rather than water in his mindscape. Through the scent, he found bile rise up to his throat and wanted to puke in disgust, but something inside of him, which was a really large part of him, wanted nothing more to drink every drop of the viscous red fluid that was most certainly sweet. What did you do to me, fox? Naruto demanded angrily. The gigantic fox could only grin as he looked at his young, naive and foolish container. He would never know what hit him. You want to know? Then touch this orb, instructed Kyuubi while throwing towards him a glowing purple orb. And just what exactly you are. Naruto meanwhile was completely scared and was left wondering what the fox had done to him. He did not want to have fox ears or a tail, but the scariest thing was his thirst for blood that he was constantly feeling after smelling blood. When the fox told him that the answers he was looking for were in the orb, he jumped to catch it. The second he touched the orb, memories of a completely different person bombarded his mind. Memories of gore, blood, laughter, power and bonds now danced in his mind. Naruto in that moment lived the whole life of someone inhuman. He lived the life of someone called Count Dracula, Vlad Three Teeps, or as he was known, Alucard. He knew who he was, but now, he was something more. The memories did not resurrect Alucard, but they completely changed Naruto. At Mount Myoboku, the elder Toad Sage was in a meditative state with Fukasaku and Shima in the back when suddenly his eyes opened and he began to say, "The bird of Hermes has woken, after a millennia-old slumber. Free from all that bound him, hungry for blood. The bonds are shattered by the wrath of time, nothing can control him now. A new era has begun and the future is covered in blood. The world will thrive and fall, not by his peace, but by his whim." Fukasaku looked at Shima in concern and said, "We must inform Jiraiya boy of this development," while Shima vigorously nodded. Naruto's mindscape. As the orb was completely absorbed in his mind, two souls situated in the seal felt something change as they decided to come forward to see their son. As Namake's Minato, Yondaime Hokage of Konoha, and Uzumaki Kushina, the Red Death, came out of the seal, they saw their son, but he was changed. His eyes were now red with a slit pupil, long red hair, a wiry yet muscular physique, pale skin, and really sharp teeth. Naruto woke up from his memory-induced coma and opened his eyes. The sewer was now full of light, the cage and fox were there, but two more people were present. As he looked at the newcomers, he gasped. Standing 6 feet tall, with blonde hair, blue eyes, a Jounin uniform with his signature white haori, stood Yondaime Hokage, who was standing alongside a beautiful red-haired woman who stood 5 feet, 8 inches tall, with an hourglass figure and D-cup breasts, wearing a bottle green pullover and a dress. "Naruto-kun, I missed you so much!" exclaimed the woman happily and jumped forward, catching him in a hug tightly with no intention of letting go. Naruto was surprised. He was never hugged before, and this hug felt like what he had imagined his mother's would have felt, protective and warm. Wanting to know about the woman, Naruto inquired, "Sorry for interruption, miss, but who are you?" The sobbing woman answered, "I am your mother, Sochi-kun. I am the one who gave birth to you and protected you till my last breath. If I have to, I would do so again." Naruto was shocked. His mother was with him all the time. Although she was dead, he could understand that the seal must have contained her soul and released it now with Yondaime's. Although, what the heck was the Yondaime even doing here? The question was also answered quickly. "Hello, son, I am your father." Sorry for placing such a burden on you. You should know that I have regretted every moment of that decision," spoke a guilt-ridden yondaime. While Naruto understood his father's reasoning, he wanted to punch him in the face, and he did punch him, which sent his father flying and his mother into a fit of laughter. "That's my son, bashing a SS rank ninja with a punch. Although the last time I saw you, you had your father's hair, not the Uzumaki red hair. You have some explaining to do, Sochi," warned Kushina with her hair taking form of 9 tails and an angry aura appeared around her. Naruto cringed and began to explain his situation and the powers he saw through the orb. He tried to access the weapons that Alucard preferred, and to his surprise, he could easily do so. His father quickly took his guns away to modify them a bit, along with the musket Rip Van Winkle used. While he talked to his parents, his father modified the gun to release a chakra bullet rather than a normal one if the bullets got exhausted, which allowed him to use his chakra without doing the horrendous chakra control exercises. As he was talking to them, the image of his parents started to fade. "And oh, please don't leave me again, I don't want to lose my parents again," shouted Naruto in panic. "Naruto-kun, our chakra is getting exhausted. Unless you have a way to preserve our souls, we will have to depart." But Naruto was not listening as his mind fixed on the statement his father made. A way to preserve his soul without chakra, well, I can do that, thought Naruto. Well, there is a way, but it will be painful and make you my familiar, but on the plus side, we can spend an eternity together. I will get your memories and skill, and we both will be together forever. I cannot lose you both just after meeting you," cried Naruto. His parents smiled and agreed. Naruto quickly closed his eyes and bit his father first, followed by his mother. As their knowledge filled his mind, Naruto was able to recreate the control art restriction system Alucard had to hold back his power. With new determination, he decided to leave the mindscape, but before he could leave, Kyuubi said, "Aren't you going to thank me, Kit? You did this to further your reputation, but you did help me, so thank you, but I will defeat you later," smirked Naruto. That said, Naruto left his mindscape to complete his test. Chapter 2. The New Sadistic Naruto. Forest of Death. Naruto opened his eyes to the sunlight filtering through the canopy of the trees. At first, panic came to his heart, which was later changed to confusion and finally stopped at an understanding. From the memories of his mother, he found out about the special Uzumaki chakra that corrects every genetic flaw. Since his aversion to both sunlight and silver was a genetic defect which was present even before Alucard became a vampire, they were corrected. The curse on Alucard gave him immortality to a level that he won't die of disease and aging, but it also enhanced his weaknesses with his strengths. His minor allergy to silver and aversion to sunlight took the form of burning pain when his skin came in contact with either silver or sunlight. The Uzumaki chakra cured him, thus completely eradicating the harmful effects. In other words, the only way to kill him now would be when the souls of his victims are completely exhausted. Feeling free after a long time, Naruto let out a spine-chilling laughter that echoed throughout the forest. With Sand Siblings. The Sand Siblings was the alias of the Suna team, which consisted of the 3 children of Yondaime Kazekage. Right now, Sabaku no Temari and her younger brother Sabaku no Kankuro were trying to distract their youngest brother from killing them when a cold laughter echoed through the forest. Temari and Kankuro froze for a second while looking at their youngest brother Sabaku no Gaara. To their surprise, Gaara was on his knees while clutching his forehead and shivering. He suddenly said with a voice full of devotion, "Mother, do not be afraid. I will kill the person who made this sound. You will not have to worry about him." Temari nearly had a heart attack. There was something in this forest that could even scare a Bijou. She hoped to never face someone like him in battle. With Mitarashi, Anko, and Orochimaru of the Sannin. Anko was not having a good day. The first bad thing was the discovery that Orochimaru, her old sensei, has infiltrated the Chunin exams. Then, she went through a lot of pain in finding him, and now, she was in pain as he used the curse seal to send waves of pain through her body. She was in deep shit, and she knew it. Now she would die at the hands of her former sensei and current traitor of the village. Suddenly a bone-chilling laughter was heard by the 2 people. Enko had heard a lot many things, but this laughter was even creepier than the laughter of her former sensei. There was a hidden malice and bloodlust in the laughter which should not be present in a human voice. She knew that this laughter would haunt her in the coming days. Orochimaru may deny it as much as he wants, but he was a mortal human. The second he heard the inhuman laugh, he decided to get away from the forest as soon as possible. Enko could wait at a later date. Well, Enko-chan. Looks like our reunion will have to be postponed at a later date. If Sarutobi-sensei tries to stop the examination, I will attack the village right now. Orochimaru smirked in a snake-like fashion. Orochimaru quickly left the forest after saying that, so as to not show any fear at the laughter. All across the forest, people and even animals had a similar reaction to laughter. With Naruto. When the rush of being free after such a long time left his system, he decided to track down his teammates. Taking a deep breath, he was assaulted by the sense of the blood in different people. Taking another sniff, he was able to pinpoint the location of his teammates surrounded by 9 more scents. With a malicious smile, he quickly took off towards his teammates' location. With Sakura. Haruno Sakura was not having a good day. Yesterday, their team was ambushed by Orochimaru of the Sannin, who defeated them and gave Sasuke a seal of some sort, while hitting Naruto with some attack that incapacitated him. If Naruto was here right now, it would have been some help. The people she is facing are really strong. Naruto was the dope, but at least he would be a good meat shield for her Sasuke-kun. She knew that it was a mistake to bring Sasuke with her to the river. She was ambushed by the Otonin as she was trying to treat Sasuke. She did not know medical techniques, but she could do basic first aid. In the nearby bushes, Team 10 and Team 9 watched Sakura being beaten up by the Otonin. Lee wanted to save her, but Niji told him to bide his time. They all wanted to see what she learnt under Hatake Kakashi, and were sorely disappointed. The girl was at the level of an academy student, and the only thing she showed other than academy skills was tree climbing. Lee decided that this was the time to help their comrade, and Ino decided to help her childhood friend. But in the end they were unsuccessful when Zaka sent one of his decapitating airwaves attack at his teammate Kin, who was being possessed by Ino at the time, while Lee was defeated by the vibrations from Dosa's gauntlet. Suddenly, a dark aura was felt as Uchiha Sasuke woke up, with dark purple chakra oozing from his body, which was covered in black flame-like marks on his left side. Sakura was very excited that her Sasuke-kun was awake, but the state he was in really worried her. He had a manic smile on his face, which really creeped her out since it was quite similar to the snake Sannin they fought yesterday. Sasuke looked at Sakura and saw her state. Which one of them did this to you, Sakura? Zaku spoke out in an arrogant voice. I did, and soon, you will be in the same state, decapitating air waves. With that, Zaku attacked from the tubes in his arm and launched a blast of compressed air at Sasuke, who made no motion to dodge. Zaku grinned arrogantly and said, Humph, why do people even call him strong? I took him out in one attack. Took whom out? Whispered a voice behind him. Zaku abruptly turned to face his adversary, who was in the middle of throwing a punch at his face. Zaku knew that this would hurt, and closed his eyes to wait for the impact, but the impact never came. Opening his eyes, he found a white-gloved hand blocking the punch. You started the party and didn't even invite me, Uchiha-chan. I was so sad, said a mocking voice. The gloved hand belonged to a tall male with red hair, lean and muscular physique, pale skin, and sharp teeth which were visible at the moment due to the wide grin on the person's face. Said person was wearing a black shirt and black shinobi-style pants. Instead of ninja sandals, he was wearing shoes which completely covered his feet. The most prominent feature was a long, blood-red-colored trench coat which he wore over his black shirt. The Uchiha quickly freed himself from the stranger's grasp when Zaku began to speak. Another Konoha rat. These dogs just keep coming no matter what you do. To everyone's surprise, the stranger gave a spine-chilling laughter they all recognized from earlier. Alwa, Dead Meat decided to give us 2 nicknames, Rat and Dog. How adorable. Sasuke yelled, with the power I have now, I will be able to defeat my brother. You stranger would be a good person to test this power on. That said, he rushed towards the stranger, but before he could even land a punch or attack in some way, A vicious backhand came at him, and all went dark for Uchiha Sasuke. Spoiled brat thinks he can measure up to me, how pathetic. The stranger spat with disgust clearly written on his face. Hirono Sakura could not take it. This stranger insulted and manhandled her Sasuke-kun and looked down on him. She would make him apologize. Moving forward, she tried to punch the stranger when he caught her hand. Previously, she was unable to get a look at his eyes, but now, those orange-red eyes with a slit pupil terrified her as he glared at her. I do not tolerate a waste of space like you thinking they can take me on. Go and die in a ditch. Spat the stranger while pushing her to the ground, leaving her dazed. The other Konoha nin could not believe their eyes. This stranger was terrifying. He took out Sasuke in a single hit, and was really cruel to Sakura as well. While they had seen Naruto receive such treatment at the hands of some Konoha shinobi, but these two were respected as a genin, although Sasuke received more respect from everyone in the village. The stranger dismissed their shock by asking a shocked Tenten in a rude way, "You, weapon girl, do you have spears?" Tenten was dazed but answered, "Yes, I do have spears." Suddenly she was interrupted. "Good, give me 3 of them, and I promise to pay back at the end of the exam." Meanwhile, the Otonin were getting impatient. Doso was visibly upset. Kin, although scared, was angry at the newcomer for completely ignoring them. Zaku the impatient one yelled out, "Hey, don't ignore us, asshole." But any other action on Zaku's part was halted by a punch to the gut by the stranger, which left Zaku to struggle for a breath of air. The stranger looked down in disgust. "Stop talking dead meat, your pathetic voice grates on my nerves. I will ask for the spears later, first I will deal with you. You have pushed me far enough." With that, he kicked as hard as he could at Zaku's kneecap. Naruto had an inkling of his strength, but the result was completely unexpected by the 2 Konoha teams and a dazed but conscious Sakura. The kick completely shattered Zaku's knee and separated the limb from the rest of the body, by brute strength alone. Zaku howled in pain as his knee was crushed by the Konoha shinobi. He had heard about some sadistic shinobi, but few of them had the power to separate a limb by crushing the muscle and bone through brute force. He knew of some IWA ninja who could crush the bones of their victim, but this was unheard of. Kin and Dosu watched in horror as the Konoha shinobi crushed and separated Zaku's leg from knee below with a simple kick. As they moved to help their teammate, the stranger appeared in front of Dosu and stabbed him in the stomach with his hand. After what happened to Zaku, Dosu was careful and quickly used Kawarimi to replace himself with a log. He was happy to have used Kawarimi when he saw the log was pierced and a hand was sticking out from the other side. Ripping his arm out, the stranger took a sniff, and a second later, pain erupted in Dosu's abdomen. Looking down, he found an arm sticking out from his gut. He looked back to see the malicious smile of the stranger as he said, "You thought that you can avoid the predator, prey like you is really stupid." A second later, the sharp teeth of the stranger pierced his neck as his body was rapidly drained of blood. The spectators were horrified at the brutality shown by the stranger. Kin came out of her stupor and started to pepper him with saban. Within a single minute 20 saban needles protruded from his chest, but the stranger was not even fazed by the needles sticking out of his chest. Giving a feral grin that scared the shit out of everyone, the needles in his chest began to come out on his own. Breaking a tree branch from a nearby tree, the stranger rushed at Kin and grabbed her by the throat. "Well, hitting me with the saban was not very nice. What do you have to say for yourself, young lady?" spoke the stranger with a malicious and mocking voice. "What kind of monster are you?" stuttered Kin. The stranger started laughing again and said, "I am the bird of Hermes, the impaler, the prince, but most importantly, I am the count." And with the last word, the stranger started to burrow the tree branch into Kin's abdomen, all the while laughing manically. As the Konoha ninja looked, the stranger slowly pierced Kin's stomach with a blunt tree branch, while the girl, who was still alive, whimpered in pain and fear. As her blood began to pool on the ground, the makeshift spear completely penetrated her stomach and burrowed in the tree behind them, holding Kin in place as the stranger bit her neck and ripped her throat out. Zaku was now pissing himself in fear, for he knew that the stranger would kill him. For this monster, the scroll was not important. He wanted their lives and would not stop until he kills him as well. He saw the brutality and sadism shown by the stranger when he killed Dosu and Kin. He just hoped that the stranger kills him quickly. The stranger looked at Zaku and said, I am feeling merciful at the moment, which is why I will kill you quickly. And with that said, the stranger crushed Zaku's head under his shoe without even flinching. Shikamaru wanted to ask the name of the person in front of him. He was both strong and brutal, yet was only a genin, which was strange. Why would the Hokage keep such a ninja as a genin? He called out, Hey, what is your name? The stranger looked back and grinned. Ah, you forgot me, Shikamaru. We just met this morning, right after the proctor decided to cut my cheek with her kunai. How can you forget someone you always goofed around with? Came the stranger's fake-hurt voice. Shikamaru's eyes widened, for he understood the meaning of the stranger's words. He just did not want to believe that the troublesome, hyper-child that was Uzumaki Naruto was the same person standing before him who brutally killed 3 genin. Naruto was their friend, and looking at him as he is now, scared the crap out of Shikamaru. Before anyone could say anything, Naruto picked up his teammates and placed them on both of his shoulders. He grinned at the group with his sharp pointy teeth. Many people who once considered his grin to be stupid, childish, and annoying would now fear the same grin. I would have stayed, but these 2 pieces of shit need medical attention, so I will meet up with you later, Ja-eni, and he jumped on a tree and disappeared. He had seen the Shunshin no Jutsu from his father's memories, and used it to appear in front of the gate of the tower. Opening the door, he found himself in a blank room with only a painting. Deciding to open the scrolls, he quickly opened them and threw them on the floor while jumping back a little. With a puff of smoke, Yumino Irika was standing in front of him. That was quick, but who are you, young man? Why do you have Sasuke and Sakura on your shoulders? And where is Naruto? Irika inquired, already on the verge of a panic attack. To answer your question, Team 7 was attacked by Orochimaru of the Sannin, and an Odo team, Sasuke and Sakura are injured, and I am Uzumaki Naruto. Informed Naruto with a grin, though the grin was more terrifying than before. Irika looked surprised at that before showing Naruto in the tower. Till now, only the Suna team and Team 8 had entered the tower. After dropping Sasuke and Sakura to the mezzanine, Naruto went inside a room to get some rest. He will need some blood later. After 5 days. As the 6 teams who were able to reach the tower stood next to each other, they waited for the Sandaime to begin his speech about the purpose of Chunin exams. Sandaime looked down at the contestants but was unable to find the telltale blonde hair and orange jumpsuit of Uzumaki Naruto, but was able to see a new figure that he had not seen before. There was a tall man with red hair, black clothes and a red trench coat standing next to the Uchiha. He decided to begin his speech. To all the teams who have succeeded in passing the second stage of the exams, good job. While most people do not know this, but the Chunin exams are a replacement to war, which means that you are expected to perform to the best of your ability. I wish you all a very good luck, announced the Sandaime. Are we allowed to kill during the fights? Asked the redhead from Suna. Killing is allowed but frowned upon, answered the aged Hokage. Please allow me, Hokage-sama. My name is Hate Geku and I will be your proctor for the preliminary round of Chunin exams. Is there anyone who wants to quit the examination? Asked Hate. Yakushi Kabuto decided that he was not able to compete in the examination and wanted to quit. Now, all the participants, please sit in the competitors' block, and the competitors, whose names are shown on the electronic board, come down to the arena, instructed Hate. Uzumaki Naruto grinned at the spectacle before him. This was not only the most interesting one, but also the most exciting. Alucard's memories had changed him into a sadistic monster. He hoped that the villagers were ready to see this brutality firsthand. And what is a better way to showcase it than the Chunin exams? Chapter 3. Preliminaries. Sabaku no Kankuro will have a free pass due to an irregular number of participants, Hate said. Lucky. I can go to the finals without showing my skills, Kankuro thought. The board started going through new names until it stopped. Will Uchiha Sasuke and Akato Yoroi step forward? The rest of you please go to the balconies, Hate explained, and everyone left the arena except Sasuke and Yoroi, who were staring at each other. In the balcony? Go Sasuke-kun, Sakura yelled, cheering for her Uchiha. Naruto looked at the girl cheering beside him and only one thought ran through his mind. I wonder who was more retarded, the single most useless human being in the world, or me for falling for the single most useless human being in the world. Uchiha Sasuke vs. Akato Yoroi. Fighters ready? Hate asked and both nodded. Hajime Hate said and jumped back. Sasuke looked at his opponent with an arrogant smirk on his face. He was fully prepared to fight, he had gotten enough rest. He took out a kunai and got into a stance. Yoroi took out 3 shuriken and held them with both his hands. He threw them at Sasuke. Sasuke waited for the shuriken to block them with his kunai. Yoroi ran at fast speeds towards Sasuke. The shuriken reached Sasuke, he deflected them. He was not able to react fast as Yoroi was in front of him while he was blocking the last shuriken. He was not able to detect the oncoming right hook from his opponent. It connected with his right side of the face and pushed him back. Sasuke cursed himself for making such a stupid mistake and getting hit early. He tried to activate his Sharingan, but a sudden pain in his shoulder was enough to convince him that doing so would be a bad idea. He rushed towards the oncoming genin prepared to a taijutsu battle. He was faster than his opponent, thus he was able to use the advantage of his speed. Yoroi brought his right hand trying to smack Sasuke on the face, but Sasuke saw it coming and easily dodged. He tried to kick Sasuke, but the Uchiha caught his leg and landed an hard punch to the face. Sasuke let go of Yoroi's leg and spun around, kicking the genin on his shoulder. Yoroi was sent crashing into the wall. He gritted his teeth at the slight pain he felt and quickly recovered, rushing of Sasuke. Sasuke waited for his opponent to arrive. Yoroi jumped up, attempting to punch Sasuke with much force. Sasuke sidestepped the attempt and gutted the genin. Yoroi hissed, clutching his stomach, and retaliated with a palm strike to the face, effortlessly placing his hand on Sasuke's forehead. Sasuke suddenly started to feel weak without any reason and removed the hand on his forehead and attempted to grapple, holding on to Yoroi firmly. Yoroi suddenly broke free from Sasuke's hold. He held Sasuke by his right hand, sucking out of his chakra. Sasuke only realized it when his reserves were starting to empty. He quickly tried to separate himself with Yoroi. What he got from his attempt was a hard kick on the face that sent him flying away. He flipped in midair and landed gracefully on the floor. He glared at his opponent, who had a grin on his face. Yoroi looked as if he had won the match, but Sasuke was not going to give up easily because his chakra got sucked. "I see you still had some chakra left," Yoroi spoke with a bit of amusement in his voice. Sasuke just got up and glared at him. Yoroi rushed forward so that he could end the match before the Uchiha came up with a plan to win the match. Sasuke waited till Yoroi was in front of him. He acted fast and brought out his left hand, aiming Yoroi's face. Yoroi saw it coming and grabbed Sasuke's hand. He smirked at the Uchiha, but it vanished quickly when he saw a wide smirk on Sasuke's face. Before he could know why Sasuke was smirking, he received a punch to the gut that had him coughing a bit of blood. He let go of Sasuke's hand. Sasuke dropped to the ground and did a leg sweep. Yoroi was falling down when Sasuke grabbed both his legs and spun around twice before throwing him up. Sasuke jumped up, moving faster than his opponent. Yoroi looked up to see Sasuke waiting for him. Sasuke was facing down the ground when he mastered all his power in a single kick. The kick connected with Yoroi's chest, sending him down fast. Yoroi crashed to the ground with a sickening thud. Everyone winced at the sound of Yoroi's body hitting the ground. Sasuke landed down and smirked when he looked at Yoroi. He was out cold. Hate stepped in forward and coughed before announcing the winner, Uchiha Sasuke. In the balcony, Naruto simply looked down dispassionately at the arena as Sasuke came back up. Kakashi looked at him as he scoffed at Sasuke's victory. Looking at Sasuke, he smirked and mocked. "That seemed quite difficult for you, Uchiha. Did that clanless shinobi give trouble to the prodigious princess of Uchiha clan?" Sakura shrieked, "Shut up, Naruto. You are just jealous that Sasuke-kun is better than you." Sending a crimson-eyed look at her, he smirked again and said, "You seem to be getting braver every second, despite the fact that you are probably the weakest and the most useless kunoichi I have ever known. You should be worried about the opponent you would be facing, for this can be your first and last serious fight. You could die, or worse, get permanently crippled in your fight, Haruno." This small talk completely terrified Sakura, but she put up a brave face and shrieked. Worry about your own match, Naruto baka, or else I will pummel you into the ground. This completely wiped Naruto's smirk as he looked at Sakura. Thinking that Naruto had no comeback, Sakura looked a little smug, but the next sentence completely shattered her delusions as Naruto spoke in a chilling tone. You are lucky that you are a Konoha ninja, and have not been selected to face me till now, otherwise I would have ripped your throat, drained your blood and impaled you on a pike in front of the Hokage Tower. Kakashi looked at Naruto with surprise, wondering just what exactly happened in the forest to make Naruto act in this manner. Soon the next pair of fighters was selected. Hade called out, "Will Aburame Shino and Tsurugi Misumi report to the arena?" Misumi was Kabuto's second teammate who had a very peculiar fighting. He was able to dislocate his joints on purpose, and use chakra to stretch his body to huge lengths. Using his superior flexibility, he was able to dodge the first few strikes and wrapped himself around Shino in such a way that it restrained him and put him in a position that his neck could be snapped. Naruto looked at Misumi, and he looked really smug. It was true that his taijutsu was better than Shino, but the move was completely useless. "Shino-kun, be careful!" shouted Hinata, in a rare show of bravery. "That won't be necessary anymore, Hinata, this match is already over. Anyone with half a brain could clearly see the winner," drawled Naruto. "Of course, Shino has to forfeit if he wants to live," spoke Sakura in a self-assured tone. Kurenai glared at her as she dismissed the skill of her student. Naruto snorted at the naive thought of Sakura and explained a little. "You just proved that you do not have enough brain capacity to see through a simple fight. How did you get the top position in the academy is beyond me. Maybe you blew the teachers regularly to reach where you are. But then again, you are nowhere," spoke Naruto in a bored tone. "Naruto baka, how dare you insult me like that? I am far better than you at deducing situations," screamed Sakura. Covering his ears to tune out the voice of his probably soon-to-be-dead teammate, he explained, "As you can see, Misumi's body is tightening around Shino at an alarming rate. While it would normally be a cause of concern for Shino, the reason for this tightening is not a conscious effort by Misumi, but rather a lack of chakra on his part. This technique does not take much chakra because it does not expel the chakra, nor convert it into elemental chakra. So the only reason why his chakra is draining at a powerful rate is the Kikuchi bugs in Shino. It means that Shino is responsible for this tightening. It is probable that Misumi wasted most of his chakra in strangling a mushy bunshin." Naruto was proven correct when Shino held by Misumi dissolved into a swarm of bugs, which quickly surrounded Misumi and drained him completely, knocking him out. Hate announced, "The winner of second match is Aburame Shino." Everyone looked at Naruto in some suspicion and slight respect. The suspicion was mainly because of the degree of change in his personality. The next participants were chosen quickly and the results really amused Naruto. "Ho!" Naruto actually turned to the arena. "Now this looks promising." Hate announced, "Will Sabaku no Temari and Tenten of Konoha report to the arena?" The two opponents faced each other as their names were announced. Tenten made a practical entrance while Temari made a flashy entrance as she flew down to the arena. Facing each other, the two opponents waited for the match to begin, Tenten's eyes showing a fierce determination, while Temari's eyes showed her confidence. Hate raised his hand as the stadium went quiet and brought it down, starting the match. As soon as the fight started, Tenten immediately jumped backwards, creating some distance. "Oh? Are you waiting for me to make my move?" Temari asked. "Not smart. For the first move I make will be the last move you see. I don't want this match to be over too quickly. So why don't you go first? Come on, girls, show me what you got." Tenten scowled. "Okay, if you insist. Remember, you asked for it." With that she threw some shurikens at Temari and missed. What? I missed? Ha ha ha! That bitch is good!" Naruto exclaimed. Naruto sighed, watched carefully. Tenten will lose this fight. Guy looked offended at that. Why must you say such unyouthful things about the youthful Tenten? There is no way she could lose. Naruto frowned and answered, "She will lose. She has the worst possible opponent for her, after me of course." "Go Tenten!" Clown in spandex cheered. Show her your power of youth. Don't listen to this moron. She heard familiar voice and looked at the balcony. Looking up, she saw that it was the now changed Uzumaki who said this. Naruto? Word of advice, give this match up. Her eyes widened. What? You should listen to your handsome friend, Temari said with a smile. You can't win against me. Give up and spare yourself the embarrassment. Tenten's look hardened. So you don't think I can beat her? Jean shrugged. Nope, at your current level, you are not a weapon master but a glorified kunai thrower. If you could actually engage her in close range with any weapon, you might have a chance, but I doubt that you know anything about fighting in close range with melee weapons. TCH. Bun-haired girl scowled and took out 2 small scrolls. Then I'll just have to prove you wrong. Don't say I didn't warn you then, Naruto muttered. Meanwhile, Tenten placed 2 scrolls on the ground and started doing hand seals. Naruto grinned at Temari. Pretty generous of you to let her do that without attacking her. Temari smiled at him brightly. It's not like it will work anyway. Sushuryu, twin rising dragons. Smoke filled the arena, and 2 scrolls shot up in the air. Ho, pretty technique useless, but still pretty, Naruto commented. Ninpo, Kamaitashi. Temari waved her large fan, sending huge cutting whirlwind at Tenten. See? That's what I was talking about. Smirked Naruto towards the other people in the balcony. Gah! Tenten gasped in pain as her back was landed right onto Temari's fan. Impressive, Naruto stated. Why, thank you, Sand Girl replied. The winner of the 5th match, Temari. Hate announced. Kunoichi's smile widened. Wait a second. Spandex Guy jumped down just in time to catch Tenten after she was thrown by Temari. Nice catch, she commented. What is wrong with you? He shouted. She may have lost, but that is no way to treat an opponent who's done her best. Beat it, you moron, Temari said. And take that sack of garbage with you. In the balcony? Well, that was not something unexpected. I wonder how she trains if she was defeated this easily? Drawled a thoroughly bored Naruto. Guy grew annoyed at Naruto's comment and yelled, Why do you say such unyouthful things about Tenten-chan? She practiced for countless hours to perfect her skills and I won't let you insult her like that. Naruto calmly stated, I could not see her skill as her only skill is shooting kunai and throwing so many weapons on her enemies that they would be unable to counter. As a budding weapon user, she must understand that projectile weapons are not always useful. Did you try to encourage her to expand in Bojutsu or Kenjutsu? She was outmatched because she focused heavily on her strengths and did not even register her weaknesses. As her Jounin sensei, you should have made sure that she gets a well-rounded training that enhances her strengths and covers her weakness. It is clear to me that you mostly trained Lee. Giving a nasty smirk, showing his pointy teeth, he leered, Playing favorites are we, but don't feel ashamed, all the Jounin senseis have a favorite in their squad. You are no different. Saying this, Naruto went quiet, but the other Jounin were in deep thought as they could not deny at playing favorites. Kurenai had believed that she is fair sensei, but the single statement by Naruto opened her eyes. She favored Hinata over the other members of her squad. As she cared for Hinata when she was little, her maternal instincts and dislike of men caused her to favor Hinata over her other male students. Asuma believed in teamwork, but even he could not deny that he favored Shikamaru more than the other members. He realized that his favoritism stopped his squad from growing stronger. But the one thing he was not expecting was Kakashi showing favoritism. Kakashi was both annoyed and angry that Naruto questioned his teaching methods and accused him of favoritism. He felt that his philosophy did not allow any favoritism in the team, and saw Naruto's statement as a method of insulting and demeaning him. Angrily facing Naruto, Kakashi spat, "That is a ridiculous lie, Naruto. Even you know that I do not favor any one of the squad members. I don't know why you are saying this, but I won't have you insulting me." Naruto looked at Kakashi and gave a cold smile. The smile caught Kakashi off guard as Naruto spoke in an excited tone. "In that case, you would expect Sakura to impress us with the skills you taught us. Come on, useless girl, it is your turn now. Prove this to Kakashi and myself that you are not useless. If you do not defeat her, then you should leave the ninja forces as soon as possible." Indeed, it was seconded by Hate in the arena. Will Yamanaka Ino and Haruno Sakura report to the arena? Sakura gulped and looked at the other people in the balcony. Ino was giving her competitive looks, Kakashi was giving her an encouraging glance, but Naruto's look surprised her the most. He was giving her a bloodthirsty look that promised immeasurable amounts of pain should she fail. As Sakura faced Ino in the arena, she hoped that Ino was not much stronger than the academy before she heard the cry to start the match. Sometime later, Naruto was maniacally laughing as the two fangirls trash-talked each other, fought like pathetic schoolgirls over their crush, and ended up knocking each other out. The audience gaped at the most pathetic display of the day. Asuma lowered her head, completely ashamed at the stupid fight her squad member showcased, which was replicated by Kakashi, who truly could not understand how such a thing could even happen. The only silver lining was this being a preliminary match, or Konoha would have lost a large number of clients. Naruto stopped laughing, but his pointy grin was still on his face. The people who always found his foxy grins annoying now missed those grins with a passion. In a mocking tone, Naruto laughed out, "Look, Kakashi-sensei, it is a good thing that Sasuke fought that Yoroi guy. If he had fought Ino, it would have been him lying there. After all, Sasuke and Sakura have the same skills. Both are the top students, after all." Kakashi gritted his teeth in annoyance. Ever since the Forest of Death, Naruto had been almost insufferable with his insulting and mocking comments. Naruto was the dead last, yet he spoke as if he was the strongest genin here. Since Kakashi had enough confidence in Naruto to believe that he will succeed to the next round, he knew the best way to punish Naruto. "Let's see how you will succeed later on. I will not train you again until you respect me, and I doubt that without my help, you would be able to make any progress in the finals," thought Kakashi, though he did not know, but Naruto was eavesdropping and heard his thoughts. Smiling maliciously, he thought, "You will regret it heavily, Hatake team. I will show you something you had never expected." After the silly fight, Hate wanted to see some skill, and the next matchup promised that. Looking at the board, Hate announced the next match. Will Hyuga Hinata and Hyuga Niji report to the arena? Hinata grew scared when she heard that. She knew that Niji hated her, and would be willing to kill if he could. Now, he had the opportunity which truly scared her. Looking at her sensei and teammates, she was a little reassured and timidly trudged down to the arena. As she stood in front of Niji, who began to verbally break her spirit, she wanted to cry before a clear and sharp voice cut through all the chatter and noise. "Shut up, you pathetic bastard. You think anybody cares about your fate and destiny? The only thing you are accomplishing is boring everyone by forcing that to her, the tripe coming out of your mouth. I could care less if you fight Hinata for a so-called pride, but boring me to death will only get you a quick death at my hands. Shut your trap and start the fight, or I will kill you myself, and use your blood to paint graffiti on the Hokage monument." The voice was clearly annoyed, and as she turned, she saw the occupants of the balcony gape and stare at the now red-haired Naruto. With a new confidence, she jumped into the fight. The fight went the same way as the canon, and since I do not know how to put it into words, I won't write it. Now we skip the fight and reach the last point of the fight, when Hinata is bleeding on the floor and the Jounin are restraining Niji. Niji spat with disgust. "More preferential treatment for the main house. I knew that you would stop the fight." Hate said, "The fight is already over. Medics have taken Hinata for treatment. If you don't back off, I would disqualify you." Whatever Hate was going to say was interrupted by a loud slurping noise. Looking at the place where Hyuga Hinata was lying, they saw a kneeling Naruto with his hair covering his face. The only visible part of his face was the red blood-covered tongue Naruto was using to lap the blood from the ground. After a few more slurps, which freaked out the Genin and Jounin and the Hokage, Naruto raised his face and stared at Niji with his red-colored eyes. An unholy amount of killer intent engulfed the stadium as the Genin began to have trouble breathing. Niji kneeled on the ground as he choked on the heavy air when he heard Naruto laugh in a deep, malicious manner which shook the tower to its core. Only one thought was going through the mind of Sarutobi Hiruzen, Hatake Kakashi, Yuhi Kurenai and every other shinobi: what the fuck happened to Naruto? Looking at Niji, Naruto spoke in a low, dark tone. Just hope that you do not draw my name for the finals Hyuga-Niji, for I will not leave you in one piece now. Getting over his shock at the killer intent, Hate quickly announced the next match. Will Rock Lee and Sabaku no Gaara report to the arena? Lee stood before the red-haired Genin and got into his Goken stance. Yash. Let us have a youthful battle. Some Genin looked confused at what Lee was saying while Kakashi sighed. Guy had converted someone to youth. Gaara looked at Lee emotionlessly while the cork on his gourd popped out at great speed at the Konoha Genin. Lee caught the cork and smirked a little. Let's not be so hasty. Hate looked between the two Genin before raising his arm. Hajime. In a great burst of speed, Lee disappeared and reappeared behind Gaara with a drop kick. However, before the heel could hit Gaara's head, sand blocked the leg, and Lee had to jump away before the sand swarmed him. In the stands? Sand? Questioned Naruto to himself. The vampire wondered if that was a mutation of the Sabaka magnet release. As Naruto watched the battle of Lee constantly using high-speed movement to dodge and try and hit Gaara, he noticed that Gaara made no move himself to control the sand. Is it automatic? Impossible. Even the third Kazekage was known to have to use great chakra control and focus to use his iron sand. He continued to watch curiously as Gaara seemed to do the impossible and control his sand in an automatic defense. Naruto was shook from his contemplations when Guy yelled from beside him, Lee, take them OFF, let your youth explode. Arena. Lee separated from Gaara and glanced at his sensei. But sensei, you told me not to take them off unless I am fighting an enemy shinobi. Guy looked down at him. I know, Lee, but I will allow it this once. He nodded and quickly jumped to a safe distance away from Gaara and unclipped his leg and arm bracers and held them to both sides, wanting to show off for the judges a bit. Kankuro looked at the leg bracers and commented, what will that do for him if he takes those off? She would have continued, but Lee dropped the weights with an earth-shattering boom and severely dented the floor. Kakashi deadpanned at the scene and looked at Anko in a commiserating way. Was that much weight really needed in his training? Guy looked at Kakashi with a serious expression which looked completely out of place, and said, Lee cannot use chakra, so taijutsu was his only option to shine in the ninja world. Naruto simply mocked. It's a pity that it took extra the time off your other two students. Though it is useless against the opponent Lee is facing. Lee grinned menacingly at Gaara, who seemed a bit flummoxed at the weight, and disappeared in an instant. The automatic sand shield barely got there in time as Lee's leg hit, breaking through the defense easily and kicked Gaara away. Kankuro looked shocked that someone had actually managed to hit Gaara. Gaara got up shakily as he looked at his cheek, which was heavily cracked and flaking as the sand shield around his body mended. Gaara glanced back up only to see a foot that was too fast to be stopped by his sand and went hurtling backwards again, only to be stopped by the other leg of Lee and sent him straight at the statue at the back of the room. Gaara walked out of the dust that had kicked up from the kick and looked heavily cracked. Gaara raised both his arms and sand started to shoot up from the ground and his gourd and rushed at Lee. Lee started to do some serious acrobatics as he frantically dodged the sea of sand rushing at him and kept trying to get to Gaara. Lee took out his nunchucks and used them as a shield and a weapon against the sand as he spun them around to beat the sand away as he charged towards Gaara. However, there was just too much sand in the arena for Lee to get through. Frustrated, he retreated to a sand-free corner and crossed his arms in concentration. Kakashi widened his eyes at that stance and looked to Guy incredulous as said Jounin smirked widely. Lee uncrossed his arms and power exploded around him. First gate of opening, open! Soon Lee was hurtling towards Gaara and smashing through walls of sand before kicking Gaara in the chin, and jumped up behind Lee and did a spinning flying suplex while shouting primary lotus. When the smoke cleared from the move, it showed a broken sand shell which vaguely looked like Gaara. Lee panted a bit from the backlash of using the first gate, but was able to barely dodge a wave of sand that came behind him as Gaara emerged from a pile of sand looking a little haggard. Lee, knowing he had no choice, crossed his arm over his face and concentrated. Kakashi revealed his Sharingan eye, wide-eyed as he viewed Lee. Guy looked at him seriously. Don't even try to judge me, Kakashi. I taught him the hidden lotus for one reason, that kid can take it. If anyone is worthy to learn that move, it's this Lee. Lee uncrossed his arms as even more chakra exploded from him as his skin turned red and his eyes lost their irises. Second gate, gate of healing, open. Third gate, gate of life, open. Fourth gate, gate of pain, open. With those gates open, it seemed as if there were multiple Lee kicking and punching Gaara around the arena, battering the Suna Genin. Eventually Gaara crashed into the ground, badly hurt as Lee could barely stand from using that technique. He looked at Gaara and saw him still conscious, lifting his hand to surely crush the weakened Genin. Lee could barely stand and he felt as if all his muscles were on fire, but he won against someone who was clearly a natural genius. However, before he could celebrate, his leg and arm were brutally crushed by sand. Baki shouted at Gaara, "Gaara! Stand down!" Gaara glared up at the Suna Jounin before all of the sand in the room converged on him, reforming his armor and gourd before slowly walking back up to the balcony. Hate decided to call the match as he declared Gaara the winner. In the balcony, Guy looked at the injuries his student had acquired, weeping silently at Lee losing his career at such a young age. His silent weeping was interrupted by a calm voice. "You may have taught him many things to become strong, but apparently, you forgot to teach him one important thing, which is considered the one lesson that every shinobi must learn." Facing Naruto, Guy asked, "And that would be?" Naruto smirked and replied, "When to retreat." If you had shown him when to actually retreat, he would have been willing to give up at the primary lotus. There was a 30-minute break as the judges fixed the arena from the fight between Lee and Gaara. Lee had been taken to Konoha's hospital due to his injuries, so Guy could not visit him. The next match appeared on the screen. Hate announced, "Will Nara Shikamaru and Akimichi Choji report to the arena?" There was an instant answer given by Choji. "I do not wish to fight Shikamaru, so I forfeit." Shikamaru grew angry. "Why did you say that first? Now I would have to compete in the finals. What a troublesome situation." Hate's sweat dropped at the antics of the Nara before announcing Shikamaru the winner. Looking at the board, he noticed that this was the last match. He called out, "Will Inuzuka Kiba and Uzumaki Naruto report to the arena?" Naruto grinned sadistically as Kiba shouted, "It's our lucky day, Akamaru. We got the easiest opponent. We will end the fight quickly." Naruto seemed to glide over the stairs and faced Kiba in the arena. Kiba gave him a cocky grin and spoke in an arrogant tone, "Give up dead last, you have no chance against me." Naruto glanced at Hate and said, "Start the match, it is about time someone collared this mutt. He needs some long overdue lessons in manners." Kiba grew angry at that and charged Naruto just as Hate started the match. Kiba threw a right jab towards Naruto's face, but his hand was blocked by Naruto. Jumping back, Kiba took out a kunai and used a jutsu taught by Kurinai-sensei. Shuriken Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. The single kunai turned into 30, all of which were moving towards Naruto in a fast speed. The force was so great that Naruto fell back with multiple organs pierced by the kunai. In the balcony, the Genin were horrified, the Jounin sensei were shocked, and Sarutobi was distraught as they saw the dead last, the most unpredictable ninja, Uzumaki Naruto, get pierced by a hail of kunai. Kiba was also shocked, but he quickly recovered and said, "Proctor, please call the match. The dobe won't be waking up any time soon." As Hate started to announce the winner, a low chuckle was heard which quickly drowned away any noise in the stadium. Kiba, Hate, the Jounin and Hokage along with every other person in the stadium looked at the corpse of Naruto, which was giggling and chuckling. Everyone was shocked as Naruto stood up from the ground while the weapons were still embedded in his body. His chuckling transformed into insane laughter as the weapons were slowly pushed out of his body. Looking at Kiba, he spoke in a manic voice, "Is that all you have got, dog? Such a weak and pathetic attack can never hope to kill me. Let me show you how to use a weapon." With that, everyone saw as Naruto withdrew a silver L-shaped metal contraption and raised it above his head, bringing it down in front of his eyes while his other hand balanced the long part of the contraption. The pose Alucard makes during his fight in Cheddar in Hellsing Ultimate. "Do you know what this weapon is? It's a gun, more specifically a Kusou, which is my oldest and most favorite one. Let's see how you fare against its modified projectile," spoke Naruto in a soft tone. The only thing the audience heard was a bang followed by Kiba's scream. As the collective Nin looked at Kiba, they saw him holding a shoulder which was bleeding profusely. Kiba was in pain, so Akamaru took the initiative and quickly dashed at Naruto. Naruto was interrupted by the dog and saw him as nothing but an annoyance. In a clean movement, Naruto fired his Kusal that shot at one of the hind legs of Akamaru, which resulted in injuring it. In the balcony, every person in the balcony was shocked at the weapon and the cruelty shown by Naruto. After his little waking from the dead act, he openly mocked Kiba and hurt Akamaru without any mercy. This was not the Naruto they knew, this was a monster from the pits of hell. What the hell did you do, Kakashi? No dead last becomes this powerful or cruel in such a short time. I know for one that his tenant is not influencing him. Also, what is with the weapon? I have never seen such a weapon. Asuma expressed his concern. Guy turned to his student, Niji-kun, can you find about this weapon? It would help all of us. Niji activated his Byakugan and looked at Naruto firing his weapon at Kiba's feet to make him jump, all the while laughing in an insane tone. Understanding the mechanism, he answered, the weapon is a modified one. Initially, it was used to fire something else, but now, it has seals covering its surface which take just enough chakra amount of chakra that is required for a kawarimi and concentrated and molds it into a conical shape which is fired at very high velocity. There is a sealing signature as to who made these weapons. At this, all the Jounin were curious as to who made such weapons. Niji looked carefully and answered, it has two different sealing signatures. One is Uzumaki Kushina. This shocked everyone in the balcony. The people who knew Naruto's mother were surprised that she could make such efficient and powerful weapon. The people who did not know assumed that she was Naruto's relative who made it. Kakashi asked Niji, and the second signature? Niji looked serious at that and said two words that caused all the jaws to drop, Namikaze Minato. In the arena, Kiba was tired. Dodging these weird weapons for the past 15 minutes really ate up his stamina while his opponent looked fresh as a daisy. Looking at Naruto, he saw a bored expression on his face. I am bored, Kiba. I hope that you could provide me with some entertainment, but it turns out that you are more pathetic than I took you for. Kiba gritted his teeth at the insult. His shoulder injury had paralyzed his right arm, he was low on chakra and his stamina had given out. Akamaru was also injured, but he would live. Kiba was nothing if not stubborn. Well, since you were unable to provide any entertainment to me, I hope you can entertain Baskerville. This confused Kiba and other people in the stadium. Who the hell was Baskerville? Naruto gave a malicious grin and started the hand signs for Kuchiyos no Jutsu. Naruto thought, it was a good thing that I was able to modify Kuchiyos no Jutsu. Now I can summon my familiars without releasing the restriction system. What Naruto summoned was something that completely terrified the people in the stadium. Standing next to Naruto was a large dog with many red eyes on it. The countless eyes looked at Kiba with hate as Kiba was on the verge of pissing himself. Before anyone could react, Baskerville charged at Kiba with a great dash. This time, Kiba did piss himself and thought just one thing, fuck the pride. If that demonic dog catches me, I am dog food. Quickly raising his hand, Kiba yelled out, I forfeit. Naruto looked quite annoyed at that and yelled, why did you forfeit? It was going to be the best part where Baskerville would have torn and ate you up. You just had to ruin my fun. Kiba was really scared and decided that it was time to leave the arena. With some hesitance, Sandaime Hokage looked at the assembled genin. Now that the preliminaries have been completed, we will draw slots for the final examination, the Hokage announced. The final competition will be held in 1 month's time, the Hokage said. This will give you all time to recover from your injuries, as well as train to get stronger. Also, it will give our VIPs time to arrive, as the Chunin exams are very important to the villages that participate, as they are able to impress clients who will bring more missions to the villages. Now then, you will each select a number at random from this box. Anko stepped forward and each genin withdrew a slip of paper. If you would please give the number you have chosen, starting with you, Naruto? The Hokage asked. 1, Naruto said. 6, said Tamari, holding up her slip. 7, Kankuro said with a grin. 3, Sasuke said. 8, Shino said in his monotone. 4, Gaara said. 2, Niji said, glaring over at Naruto, who met the Hyuga's gaze evenly. Which means I have 5, muttered Shikamaru. So the pairings are set. Please take a good look at who you will be facing in the first round, Anko said, holding up a piece of paper. Match 1, Uzumaki Naruto vs Hyuga Neji. Match 2, Uchiha Sasuke vs Sabaka no Gaara. Match 3, Nara Shikamaru vs Sabaka no Temari. Match 4, Sabaka no Kankuro vs Aburame Shino. There you have it. Now I wish you all good luck in the upcoming competition, the Hokage said. Train hard and make your villages proud. Wait, if this is a tournament, then does only one of us become a Chunin? Kankuro asked. No, you don't have to win the competition to be promoted, the Hokage said. In fact, you could lose your first match and still be promoted. The Chunin selections are based on your skill, rather than if you win or lose. Though the more times you defeat your opponent, the more opportunities you get to show the judges your strengths. So, you're saying that all of us or even none of us could be promoted? Shikamaru asked. The Hokage nodded. What a drag, he muttered. Now then, you will all be escorted from the tower and free to do as you wish for the next month, the Hokage said. Chapter 4 Talks, Summons and a Familiar Face. Hokage Tower. A grinning Uzumaki Naruto entered the office of Sandaime Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. Usually it would not have been any different from the other days when Naruto visited the aged Hokage, but today was different. The grin on Naruto's face was filled with bloodlust and malice. Naruto looked far more dangerous and insane than Orochimaru of the Sannin. The staff working at the Hokage Tower, who usually treated him with contempt, gave him a wide berth as he made his way to the office of the strongest ninja in the village. Sarutobi Hiruzen was not only the longest-serving Hokage of Konoha, but he was also considered the smartest. He was nicknamed the Professor for his scientific mind and his achievement of learning every non-clan technique available in Konoha. He looked at the changed Uzumaki Naruto with a smile before he took in the expression on Naruto's face. He had thought that the small bloodthirsty incident had been a battle face, but the malicious expression on Naruto's face seemed to tell another story. With the bloodthirsty grin plastered on his face, Naruto bowed and asked, You called for me, my master? Hiruzen's eye twitched at the overly polite, almost mocking tone used by Naruto. He spoke in a slightly angry tone. Are you trying to mock me, Naruto? Naruto still had the same expression and replied, Not at all, Hokage-sama. I am merely giving you the respect you deserve. The time I spent in the Forest of Death was an eye-opener to me. I understand that you are my superior. It was a mistake to address you anything else but by your title. The Sandaime was curious and pressed. What could have changed you so much, Naruto-kun? Naruto laughed an eerie laugh and said, An encounter with someone like Orochimaru showed me just who, know what I am. It seems that the villagers were right, Hokage-sama. I really am a demon. Hiruzen was shocked. He had never thought that Naruto would say something like that. But then he remembered another detail. What do you mean by Orochimaru? Don't tell me that you faced Orochimaru of the Sannin. Naruto grinned and said, He introduced himself very nicely. The Sandaime was unable to wrap his mind around the fact that the young boy, whom he considered a grandson, had faced Orochimaru and turned into this grinning, malicious person in front of him. Trying to understand what had happened to Naruto, Sarutobi asks, What happened after your encounter? Naruto pretended to think before answering. During the fight, Orochimaru used something called Gogyo Fuinn on me. This stopped the Kyuubi's chakra from coming out of my body and it affected my body and chakra. While my chakra purified itself and rid all the yukai from itself, he yukai modified my body into the form you see now. Since my chakra purged the yukai, my special Uzumaki chakra, which was being suppressed by Kyuubi's influence, became active and healed the various genetic and habitual defects from my body. My malnutrition was corrected, my bones became stronger, I grew taller, and some of the side effects I gained from Kyuubi's chakra, such as an allergy to silver, weak digestive system, oversensitivity to sunlight, were also corrected. Basically, my body is now in its peak performance. My chakra is free from Kyuubi's chakra, which has completely retreated to the seal. My chakra control has improved and I am way stronger than I ever was. The Sandaime massaged his forehead and asked, What about the change in your behavior, Naruto? How will you explain almost killing one of your friends? Naruto became silent for some time before answered. When these changes were taking place, I had to view every memory I had from my birth to this point. There were two things that I noticed. First, I am the son of Yondaime Hokage Namikaze Minato and Uzumaki Kushina, and secondly, I can never be a hero to the villagers who starved me, tortured me, and despised me since my birth. Hiruzen was surprised at the first statement, and felt immense sadness at the second. He tried to reassure Naruto. The villagers are only scared, Naruto. Once they learn about the real you, they would come to admire you. Naruto stopped grinning and spoke in a hollow voice. Their fear prevents them from knowing me. Their hate had blinded them, and they have foolishly deluded themselves into thinking that I am Kyuubi in a weakened state. They will never see me as anything but a demon. Hiruzen slumped upon hearing that, but Naruto continued. During my time at the academy, I used to put more time in training. I tried to succeed but failed, not because of any stupidity or lack of trying, but because I was sabotaged, ignored, and ridiculed for my efforts. After a point, I stopped caring and trying, as I knew that no matter what I do, they would not stop mocking me because they did not see me as Uzumaki Naruto but as a loser, an idiot, and a demon. I tried to change them for a decade, but they do not want to see me as for who I am. Even Iruka did not do anything to help me until he tried to see that I am not a demon. At this point Naruto straightened and spoke in a whisper. Hence, I have stopped trying. If they cannot see me as a human, then I will become a demon. They have shown me no mercy, and now, they won't get any mercy from me. Now, this demon will fight back. If you want to prevent the slaughter of your precious villagers, then tell them to stay out of my way. Or else, I would award them with a death so gruesome that even Jashin would cringe at the scene. With that, Naruto turned and left a slumped Sandaime in his office. The Sandaime shook his head and spoke. You heard that, didn't you, Jiraiya? A man with a mane of white hair, wearing loose green clothes with a red coat and wooden sandals, dropped down from the ceiling. He had a hard face with soft black eyes, a bulbous nose, and two red lines that ran from his eyes to his chin. He had a serious expression on his face as he heard the conversation between his godson and his sensei. This man was the Toad Sannin Jiraiya, one of the three Sannin. Jiraiya looked pensive as he said, he does not have hate for the village sensei. But he thinks of the villagers as nothing other than animals, and will not hesitate to kill them should they even annoy him. While he won't turn out to be a traitor, he will most certainly kill the villagers if they remain hostile. His eyes show that he has given up on the village. Sandaime pondered before saying, It reminds me of something my sensei, Senju Hashirama, once told me. The village is not made up of people, buildings, and materials. It is made up of an idea. Konoha was supposed to be the village of acceptance. Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama founded Konoha to end the feud between various clans during the Warring Clan era. This village was supposed to be the sanctuary for the people who are not accepted anywhere. Sensei told me that a traitor to Konoha is not a person who steals our secrets and gives them to others, but rather a person who betrays the very foundation of this village. Naruto accepted people with an open heart before, but the people betrayed his trust by refusing to accept him. Their fear has made them traitors to everything Konoha stands for, and now, Naruto has refused to become a victim for the traitors. I hope the people understand it before it's too late. Jiraiya nodded before he gave a perverted grin to his sensei, who smiled in amusement. I will be at the hot springs if you need me. It has been some time since I did some research. With that, Jiraiya disappeared with a shunshin. With Naruto. Naruto looked at the sky and took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of the sun on his pale skin. As Alucard, he usually avoided sun when he was still alive, and the sun became unbearable after he became a vampire. To Alucard, this warmth was something he missed in his lifetime. It is rightly said that you don't know what you had until it's gone. He made a quick decision to wander around the village and go to the hot springs in the afternoon to relax a little. After that, he would begin his training for the Chunin exams finals. His first stop would be to Ichiraku ramen stand to get a bite to eat. He loved the stuff as Naruto, but Alucard had not enjoyed the heavenly taste of different kinds of food for many centuries. As he passed by the hospital, he noticed Kakashi coming out of the lobby and moving towards him. Kakashi may have noticed him passing by and decided to have a talk. Naruto sighed. He knew that Kakashi had expressed his desire to have a talk concerning his behavior. He sighed and thought, well, let's get this over with. With that, Naruto began to move towards Kakashi. When he reached Kakashi, he saw the Cyclops frowning as if someone had told him a bad joke. Looking at his so-called sensei, he could only groan in disappointment. Why did I get saddled with such an incompetent sensei? Kakashi looked at Naruto and noticed the changes more thoroughly this time. Naruto was no longer wearing his orange jumpsuit but had a black jacket which looked like a straight jacket, black pants and shoes instead of ninja sandals. His eyes were still blue but his skin had paled to an almost white. His previously sun-kissed blonde hair were completely red. His teeth seemed too sharp for a human and he seemed to be taller than before. He wondered if this was the result of Kyuubi. Naruto suddenly said, partly, not completely his influence. Kakashi was surprised at this, though he wondered how Naruto guessed his question. Naruto smirked at this, showing his pointed teeth and spoke in a mocking tone, "You are just that predictable, Hataki-san." Kakashi looked annoyed at that. He was a ninja and his thoughts should not be predicted by anyone, let alone a genin. Finally, Kakashi sighed in exasperation and asked, "Just what happened in the forest to make you act like this, Naruto? And what were those weapons you used against Kiba?" Naruto immediately grinned in amusement and said, "The weapons are called Jackal and Kasul. As for what happened to me in the forest, our team faced Orochimaru of the Sannin in the forest. As Sasuke fought him I realized that I cannot fight him like Sasuke. Why could I not fight? Because my so-called did not teach me anything except tree climbing." At this Kakashi cringed a little. He knew that Naruto was considered barely genin level in skill, yet he had not taught him anything or even tried to address the issue. While he had previously reasoned that Naruto needs to master the basics first, he had not even helped him with the basics. However, it is a good thing that he enlisted the help of Ebisu. He can easily help him with the basics while Kakashi trains Sasuke to survive the monster called Gaara. Kakashi tried to placate Naruto. "You are right, Naruto, but I cannot teach you anything advanced until you master the basics. That is why I have enlisted the help of a great instructor who will help you with the basics. Come on, Ebisu-san." A man wearing sunglasses came out from a room and looked at Naruto with disdain. Pushing his sunglasses up, he spoke with hidden disgust, "So he is my student for the month." Before Kakashi or Ebisu could say anything else, Naruto said, "I am not interested. A weakling like him cannot teach me anything." Kakashi had expected this from Sasuke, but not in a million years had he expected Naruto to say that. Without even glancing back, Naruto turned and began to walk away. Ebisu, however, got angry. "How dare this demon turn down my instruction as if I am some piece of trash," thought Ebisu. With that, Ebisu walked menacingly towards Naruto and roughly grabbed his shoulder. Before anyone could react, Naruto twisted his body to face Ebisu, Jackal already in hand, and shot at Ebisu's shoulder. Pain flared in Ebisu's shoulder as he watched his arm and shoulder falling off in horror. The elite Jounin instructor stumbled backwards as Naruto picked his arm from the ground and looked at Ebisu with hate in his eyes. On the sidelines, Kakashi looked at Naruto with widened eyes as he saw his previously cheerful student shoot off the arm of his comrade with his strange weapon. Looking at Naruto, the two Jounin saw him smiling in a bloodthirsty, menacing manner as he held up the arm for the two Jounin to see. In a loud voice he spoke so that everyone would hear, "This is where you stand compared to me, trash. You are nothing but cattle to me. You are a shameful disgrace, a sorry excuse of a human being. People like you dare to call me a demon, and I had tried to face your hatred with a smile. Well, no more. Next time you even look at me in a wrong way, I'll slaughter you." With that, Naruto crushed the severed arm with a single hand, without even flinching as blood covered his face. His grinning visage looked like a demon now. Without even thinking of cleaning up, Naruto left, leaving a shocked crowd behind. Ebisu's cries of pain drew everyone's attention as they wheeled him into the hospital. He may live again, but he doubted that he will ever go to field. Kakashi, however, stood still, frozen on the same spot where he had been standing. Whatever happened to Naruto in the forest was bad. He had to get to the bottom of this, and also inform Hokage-sama of what Naruto did. Konoha Hot Springs. Naruto whistled a jaunty tune as he reached the hot springs. While this would not be anything special, his blood-covered face and monstrous visage scared most of the people on the way. Quickly reaching the hot springs, Naruto stripped off his clothes and eased into the warm water. As he relaxed a little, he began to ponder about his identity. Before the Forest of Death, he was certainly Uzumaki Naruto, the prankster, the most unpredictable ninja and a genin. But now, he was confused. Who was he exactly? Was he Uzumaki Naruto, a simple genin with a demon in his gut, or was he Alucard, the Count of Valahia, Count Dracula, the first vampire? His memories were all jumbled up. He had shot Ebisu's arm off with Jackal. Naruto would never have done that. But he had also spared Ebisu's life. Alucard would not have done that. He was not just Naruto or Alucard. He was like a more brutal version of Naruto and a softer version of Alucard. While his mannerisms and actions were similar to Alucard, his heart and feelings were closer to Naruto. While he no longer loved Sakura, he still liked the teachings of both Haku and Zabuza. Alucard would not only have killed Sakura, he would also not care about Zabuza and Haku, yet he did. He was a mixture of Alucard and Naruto, a much brutal Naruto but a kinder Alucard. Naruto thought with a grin, I might be a kinder Alucard, but I still wanted to kill Sakura. Maybe it's her personality that makes me want to smack her around before ending her. Naruto's musings were interrupted by a perverted giggle. Naruto perked up at that and looked around to see no one. Then he remembered his powers and took a deep sniff. There was a presence near the other side of the hot spring. This presence smelled like toads. Naruto grinned at that. His memories from his parents supplied him the name Jiraiya of the Sannin, a super pervert, a seal master, and his godfather. Going behind him, Naruto spoke in a low voice, "What are you doing, pervert?" Jiraiya simply waved him away, which made Naruto angry. Making a shadow clone, he sent it towards Jiraiya, who simply summoned a toad to deal with Naruto. As the toad's tongue came out, Naruto dispelled his clone and ran forward. Catching the tongue with little difficulty, he pulled the toad towards him and slammed him into the earth. It caused the earth to shake with the force, and Jiraiya stumbled from his place and fell right into the female side of hot springs. Naruto laughed his creepy laugh as shouts of pervert were heard, and soon enough, the bleeding, beaten body of Jiraiya was thrown out. Jiraiya simply groaned, causing Naruto to laugh even louder. This laughter was not his laughter meant to scare people, but rather a laughter filled with amusement. Jiraiya jumped and stood in front of Naruto, completely healed within seconds, and pointed his accusing finger at Naruto. "Why did you do that, brat? Those were some of the most tantalizing melons I had seen in a long time, and you ruined it for me." Naruto simply grinned at that and said, "Only someone who cannot get laid would peep on women bathing. Are you impotent or something that you need to peep on women to get off?" Jiraiya's eye twitched as he looked at his grinning godson. He did not know how the kid was before, but he most certainly had the gift of pissing people off. Grumbling at the lack of respect from blondes, Jiraiya asked while striking a pose, "Do you even know who I am, brat?" Naruto grinned again and said, "An old, dirty, impotent pervert who likes to peep on women." Jiraiya's face faltered and cried anime tears. Inside Naruto's mind, the collection of Naruto's souls laughed at the state of the Toad Sage, while Kushina cheered, "That's my baby, taking after his mother. He most certainly got this talent of pissing off people from me." On the sidelines, Namikaze Minato simply shook his head, though he was also sporting a smile. Outside, Jiraiya jumped up again and yelled, "No! I am the supreme pervert, the Toad Sage Jiraiya." Jiraiya struck his pose again. Naruto grinned again in a mischievous manner and said, "You did not disagree to being impotent, just to being a simple pervert." Jiraiya sighed at this. This would be a long day. After some time, Jiraiya began, "So kid, what was it that got you so riled up? I know that you have stopped forgiving people, but I still don't know why you decided to take your anger out on me." Naruto looked bored at that before he sighed and started his tale. "While crossing the hospital just now, I had the misfortune of running into Hitaki. He decided to train Sasuke for the month and pawn me off to some washed-out jounin named Ebisu. I got angry as the guy hated me. When I refused, the guy had the gall to grab my shoulder roughly as if I was some animal. I relieved him of his arm with my gun in retaliation. The end result, however, is that I don't have anyone to train me for the finals. Jiraiya listened with a serious face before he jumped up, startling Naruto a little, though the Alucard in him had expected it. Jiraiya yelled in a happy tone, "Then I'll train you for the exams. Meet me tomorrow at the same place at 8 a.m. sharp." Next morning, Naruto was apprehensive of training under Jiraiya due to his history of bad teachers. He had only 3 teachers: Mizuki, who was a traitor; Iruka, who took too long to understand him and act at least neutrally towards him; and finally Kakashi, who did not teach him anything worthwhile and pawned him off at the first notice. Though he had to admit that Jiraiya was strong, and while Naruto was powerful as a vampire, he did not have the skill of his parents in ninja abilities. His parents had trained him a little in Fuinjutsu, but he had to learn the other ninja skills. The first thing Jiraiya decided to train him in was summoning. Taking out the Toad summoning contract, he laid it in front of Naruto. Jiraiya began to explain, "This is the Toad summoning scroll. Sign it with your blood and you will be able to summon toads like me." Naruto, however, was not interested in toads. He wanted to summon some other animal, for toads were food where he came from. Looking at Jiraiya, Naruto asked, "How did you get this summoning scroll?" Jiraiya just grinned, "Because I am that awesome." At this, Naruto gave a hard look. Jiraiya sighed and said, "I performed the Kuchiyos no Jutsu without a contract which summoned me to empty Myaboku. There, I had to give a test before they gave me permission to summon them." Naruto was silent for a minute before, quicker than lightning, he weaved through the hand seals for Kuchiyos and slammed his palm on the earth. Before Jiraiya could react, Naruto disappeared in a puff of smoke. Summoning World. Naruto looked around the place he had summoned himself to. The area was dark and it was nighttime. Using his vampiric powers, he shifted his eyes to see in the dark. What he saw baffled him. He was in England, but it was completely destroyed. The various structures were in ruins, there was blood on the streets, and there was not a single person in sight. As he looked around the place, the surroundings seemed familiar to him. He tried to remember the surroundings but was having problems. Suddenly, a large bat appeared in front of him and spoke in a booming voice, "Who dares to enter the realm of bats? Answer me, intruder, or you will die at my hand." Naruto looked unimpressed, and the shadows around him began to move. He let his aura loose and the bat in front of him quivered when his vision was clouded by darkness with millions of glowing red eyes with slit pupils. He screamed in fright and ran towards the boss summon. Alucard chased after the bat, which kept running in fright. As Naruto looked around, his memory strained, but he was nearly there and remembering the place. Suddenly the summoned creature stopped in front of a manor and yelled, "Lady, please come out and protect me from this intruder. He would kill me." Soon, bats of all shapes, sizes, and breeds came out from the manor. Naruto looked at the manor, and realization hit him with a ton of bricks. He knew the manor. It had been his home for centuries. It was the Hellsing Manor of London. As the bats surrounded him from all sides, a figure emerged from the manor which caused Naruto's eyes to widen. He grinned in excitement as a blonde woman with red eyes and huge breasts came out of the manor. She wore a red Hellsing organization uniform and was glaring at him. She spoke coldly, "Who are you, intruder? Not many ninja can frighten one of the most powerful bats in my army, yet you did so without a problem. If you are here to sign our contract, then forget it. We bats have never assisted you ninja, and we do not plan to do so anytime soon." Naruto's grin got even wider as he started chuckling. His chuckle soon turned into a full-blown laughter as the other bats began to shake from fright at the evil-sounding laughter. The woman, however, was not in a mood for games and yelled, "What is so funny, intruder?" Naruto started chuckling again before he said, "I had expected to reach a summoned settlement for assistance. I did not expect to find myself here, either did I expect to find you here, police girl."